So I'm in a cancer dog support group, and everybody is asking how to get their dogs to eat. I'm not a vet, but I've gone to the vet and asked for help because our dog actually has cancer in his intestine, so he doesn't have any drive to eat. And we've been able to take him from 4.5 pounds to over 8 pounds. He was severely emaciated because he wasn't eating. We just got the surgery to get the tumors removed, and then we've been syringe feeding him. I'm going to show you the different things that we do to do so. So I guess this is great for people who don't have cancer, their dogs don't have cancer. But I'll point out some of the cancer stuff that my vet recommended as well, just so that people can differentiate. So I'm going to flip the camera around here. I don't know if it will let me. So I'm going to flip this. You can see this is Purina Pro Plan Veterinarian Diet. It's critical nutrition. You have to get it through your vet. Oh, there's Pee-wee and my husband. He's our little cancer warrior. Like I said, he had dropped down to 4.5 pounds when he's normally around 7, but we've gotten him up to 8. He has, like I said, no drive to eat, but every day we do this once a day. So he's a little guy, so we do 1 can a day. Again, talk to your vet to determine how much to give him. I just get it on Chewy, and they just contact my vet directly to make sure that it's okay. And you have to say which dog it is and everything. So my dog's oncologist recommended canine immunity wafers. So I'm going to crush those up in a minute and show you. We're going to add that to his syringe diet. I'm not sure how you say this, but apocaps or apocaps. I read about that in just a cancer dog book. It was by a vet, but not an oncologist. It was just in consultation with an oncologist. So take it for what it's worth. That one is one I just saw in a book. But yeah, the vet did specifically recommend the canine immunity wafers and fish oil. So he's a little guy, and we were told to give him, I don't know how many milligrams. Well, we give him 1.5, but in order to get the dose, we finally found these gummies. They're not the cheapest, but he actually really likes them. It's probably all backwards with the camera flipped, but anyway, yeah, he actually likes those. We give those once a day, give him 1.5. I'll show you. See, they're just little, like, fishy things. And that helps him get his fish oil, which is supposed to help him fight his cancer. But we've already given that, so I'm not going to show that today. But anyway, so I'm going to start out by smashing the canine immunity. I'm going to have my husband start putting the critical nutrition. And we just have a little bowl. I'm going to have him put that in there. And then I'm going to smash the canine immunity. I have just a potato smasher. I'm going to put the camera down for a second while we do this. And I'll show you. So you can see we're just pulverizing it. And then I'm going to dump it in. Actually, I'll have him do it. Can you dump that in for me, please? Yeah. And then the apocaps or apocaps says to do 1 capsule 2 times daily, but we only feed him once a day. So do you want to go ahead and put one of those? Sorry. Okay. And anyway, so we just open one up and put it in the mix here. What's kind of nice about this critical nutrition is it's designed for dogs who don't have an appetite. It's a texture that can actually be tube fed, I think, too, but we just use a syringe. That's what our vet recommended. He likes the flavor, but he feels full because of his cancer. So he doesn't want to eat much of that. So we're going to add hot water because he gets cold. So we're going to heat the water up, and we'll show you in a second how much we put in it. Because it's actually an art to get the exact texture to make it flow smoothly in the syringe. But yeah, he shivers if we put regular temperature water in there, just because he's such a little guy. He's always cold. But is that reasonably warm there?
It's starting to get there.
We actually even sometimes put hot water, but we just make sure that it's balanced once we mix it in with the critical nutrition. But I'll talk to you about the syringe here while he's getting the water. You can buy these syringes on Amazon. This is the 150 milliliter one. I think it's like around $10 for 3. We found that if you dishwash them, they don't work very well, so we just kind of rinse them after each use and then replace them every so often. But you get 3 and they work great. We'll show you the best we can. We won't have a lot of hands, but yeah, he's going to put the water in it now. Go ahead and fill it up and I'll just show him how much. Okay, so you can see about how much is in there. And so now he's going to just like pulverize it so that we can put it in our syringe.
I want to show this.
Oh yeah, you can see. Has to get a really nice fine texture. Better angle. I'm not very good at this reverse filming, so please excuse me. But like I said, this has been great because his fur is a nicer texture than it's ever been. He actually has most of his energy, even though he technically was expected to only live through the end of next month. But he really is doing great. People don't know he's sick if they don't see him struggle to eat. So we are very pleased with what this critical nutrition diet is doing. So you can see he's just mixing it really fine, chopping up the pieces. Here, a couple more pieces of the wafer that dropped. So that way he's getting his supplements. And what's nice is, like I said, we only feed him once a day. He does not like getting it force fed because he's not hungry. But the flavor is good because he'll sometimes take a couple licks. Do you want to go grab him real quick? Yeah. Then we're going to show you the process here. Oh, so he's going to grab, we have a towel that we use. We kind of use it for 1 week usually. Make sure it's darker because it does stain if you leave it on there. He's going to use that as a bib because there's a lot of splash going on. Pee-wee's playing hard to get. Sorry, guys. He knows it's food time. He'll lick his lips, but he's not so thrilled about it. Come on, Pee-wee. Okay. So if you have other animals, make sure they're locked away because they will want this. They'll go crazy for it. Our other dogs lick every little bit off the container. We try to make it so they don't get much because it is very dense nutrition. So I'm going to try to prop this up so you can see. Don't know how well that's going to do. Can you move forward there, Steve?
It's going to be up here.
We can just do the best we can down here.
You bring the gummy thing down.
Oh, good call. Okay. So you can see there's Steve with his lovely bib, because this really does splash a lot. So there's Pee-wee.
Yeah.
You want some food? Yes, he's licking his lips. Does he want any without us forcing it? Oh, take off the collar. It slops all over, unless you want to wash the collar constantly.
Want some, Pee-wee?
Yeah, and he hasn't had anything to eat besides his vitamin today. His fish oil. No. But he just doesn't have any desire to eat. So you just kind of angle it down a little bit. There are tricks to this. That's why I'm showing this. I like to fill it most of the way, kind of shake the air down. At first, there's not going to be much ability to pop it out without spraying anybody. And I gently kind of hold his mouth and push it in. Just make sure that he has a second. to digest it. And I kind of go on an angle so I'm not pushing it down his throat and making him choke entirely. But it does require us, he flips a lot of it out because I'm not forcing it down his throat. So we have to do several rounds here. But again, don't put your syringes in the dishwasher, or you will be pushing really hard and having to pull really hard to get anything to come in. And it is not fun. Okay, and then he'll tip it down again for me. And then you can hear that there's some air in there. So he's going to tip it on an angle because I have to kind of get the air out and kind of push it. And sometimes it really splatters. He just sits there and catches the drips from Pee-wee as we go. So obviously this is not ideal if you can get your dogs to have a healthy diet otherwise. But I know with his cancer in his stomach or in his intestines, this is our only choice to keep him properly nourished. And like I said before, most people don't know he's sick unless we make him, we show him that he doesn't eat. See, again, he's tipping it to kind of guard himself from the splatter. We already have it down, Pee-wee. You'd think that we'd have it down to even more of a science, but this is just a messy
process.
Messy process. But he's worth it, huh, Pee-wee? You're a good boy, yes. So again, make sure you talk to your doctors to get the prescription for this to see if it even works for your dog. Some dogs might eat it directly out of the can. That worked a little bit for Pee-wee at one point, but he's not that great at eating enough, just because, like I said, he doesn't have that urge to eat. See him getting that air out so that it doesn't choke him up and cause extra splatters. Pee-wee does not enjoy this process, but he's such a healthy boy. You'd never guess that he has a very aggressive form of cancer. And he had surgery in June. It's November right now, late November. He had surgery in the beginning of June to remove the tumors from his intestine and his omentum. But you look at him now and he's gained all that weight since the surgery. Okay, but this is really when you get the air bubbles out at the end here. We're trying to get all of it out. It's not the cheapest food, so you don't want to waste it either. I want to say it's about $3 something a can. You get a slightly better deal if you put it on subscription on Chewy. But it's definitely not a cheap option, but if you're like me, your dog is worth it. Good boy. His little tummy's grumbling because of all the moisture. Okay, and that looks pretty good. He got it to about that level. Can't really get much more unless I add more water, but it's really hard on his stomach. He starts kind of choking and stuff, and he just doesn't seem to like to get that. So I usually let the others have that as kind of a treat. Just don't overdo it because it is very dense. We're just cleaning him off and gonna give him his little collar back, and he's good to go for a day.
Good boy.
That's his daily nutrition. Sometimes if we can get him to eat a little bit, we might give him a day off and just give him odds and ends, like cheese and stuff. But if we can't get him to eat enough, he gets critical nutrition. And we at least try to do it minimally every other day, but it's usually most days because he doesn't want to eat enough to make it feasible otherwise. So thanks for tuning in. I hope that helps you with your dogs who are struggling to eat. whether they're sick or, I don't know. Hope that helps. And there's a little bit of insight into what our oncologist said as well. Oncologists can be expensive, but it's definitely worth at least doing a consult if your dog has cancer. Anyway, good luck. Hope the best for your furry children. Take care.